What is up? What is up? Tomboy official, good morning. Um I'm I don't even know what's going on. But it's Friday the 14th. Saturday the 14th, October 2023. I'm going to give you a little daily update and a little tidbit about car services using 511 if you need to, or AAA and that kind of thing. Um and we'll just talk a little bit about queer content in general. So, alrighty. So I had a good time yesterday. I am pretty wired. I had a hard time going to sleep last night until 2 a.m. Woke up around 7 something. I didn't want to waste my whole morning trying to sleep till 9:30 or 10. I tried to go back to sleep. I couldn't. So I figured, let me get up, get some eggs boiled. I'm drinking coffee right now, so I'm recording because I like to drink my coffee first, so it'll kick in with the butter and everything. I'm out of MCT oil. Um, hmm. But I've been home a whole lot lately over the past month or so. I think the last time I did Uber Eats was like late July. It looks like. Um, because I was taking a break so I can go a little harder on the applications. Um, and projects and things. And those projects, they feel nice to work on, but it's like, I don't want to give them up, but it's like sometimes you need something more immediate. But also, if I don't practice and learn skills and things, it's like, well, what am I doing having time off from work? Like I'm not much of a TV person. Like, you guys will hear about me watching shows on occasion and stuff, but I really do it like during meals or like end of the day kind of thing, or if I'm just taking some days off. Like I did take about a week off maybe 2 weeks ago, um where I basically just watched The Sopranos and other stuff like that. But let me see, I need to work on my to-do list for today. I've got 3 Amazon returns I need to take back. I think I wrote that down already, but I need to write down that I need to get my stuff out of the car. So what do I need to get out of the car? Um, I need to get out of the car my uh uh tripod and my spare key. Okay. So let's talk. Let's talk about Friday the 13th. I uh I had a good day. The day started out early, felt early, you know. I left the house probably somewhere around the 11 a.m., 11 or something like that, to just go grab a Subway sandwich and get the gas in the car. Uh, my friend was great and sent me quite a bit, like 25 bucks for gas money, so that was pretty solid. It covered our gas for yesterday, and then for the wedding, uh, it was in Ladera, something like down in Orange County, right next to San Clemente. So it took us from 3:30 to 5:45 ish to get down there. Um, Great area, really nice. it's not close to the beach, but it's near some hills that aren't really occupied. Like, I don't know who owns the area, but those hills over there don't have houses on them. Like, there's a lot of land. So I thought that was really cool because, LA, you don't see that much at all. Orange County still has some areas that aren't like too developed, which is good. Uh, Way back when I was younger, Orange County used to have like a stretch of area where there was almost nothing. And so, like, it's crazy that now when you drive the 405, you just drive south and you're just like, wow, there's like just building after mall after shopping center, you know, between LA and Orange County. And now, it's completely packed out and everything. They're building new ramps for some of the freeways, and I've noticed, they widened some of the 405 um, to hold the traffic, and it's just, oh man, it's a beast out here. But it's nice to get out. Like, I've spent a lot of time indoors, and I guess one thing I learned was going to the gym, getting my exercise helps a lot. And the next thing I've learned is getting out of the house and getting out of town helps. Like, I knew that it helped to get out of town to San Diego and stuff, but I think I need to be planning more events, doing more stuff. Um, I think it's not very pleasant to be kind of like in the house all the time. So, I kind of need to spice up my days some more. I've been trying to avoid all the like, Uber Eats driving and stuff because I was dealing with these old cars and stuff and trying to like I don't know. The hard part about driving older cars is that you don't know older cars that aren't yours. Like, you don't know all the details. Like, my car, yeah, it was like 21 years old, but I mean, I knew all the issues with it. And so if it was doing something newly strange, I was very aware that it was not normal versus, you know, doing stuff that's just, oh, this is just what it does, because it's old. Um, so there were things like that. I, uh, I, um, let's see. I, um, hmm. Okay, so yesterday, I would say I did have one bummer moment that I was debating if I was going to talk about. I've talked about a little bit that I, used to have a roommate that, lived with me in that house of wildness. And we got along, but, like I said, he sends me messages and, I like that it's like intellectual, but it's always the same thing about, you know, authoritarian people and men who are aggressive and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I'm like, I don't really like to talk in theory that much. I'm more of a, hey, how's your day? Like, what have you been up to kind of person. Like, I want to check in with you, not like your theoretical mindset. Because it's like, he says the same thing all the time, but in multiple different ways, and he's just always sending it. And so, I always just, when I get kind of tired of things, I kind of just block my, block, block certain people for a time period, like just so I can kind of not be getting like 14 or 20 or 11 messages back to back. Like, when I look at my notifications, like, I even make it so for my apps, there's one that I have to, well, I don't know. I have Sales Navigator on LinkedIn, and it has the notification when I'm on the home screen on my phone, but I try not to have that because I don't want every time I go into my phone to like look into to a certain app, I don't want to know if I have notifications because most of the time they're not super important notifications. And so I don't really want to know. I want to wait till I decide to go into an app. So for my text app on iPhone, I set it so that I don't see the notifications until I click the app, and then it shows me who's messaged me. And so that works for me. But usually when someone's messaged me, it'll show like, oh, like I have like all these messages, and then it's all usually from him. And to me it's just like negative. Like I'm just kind of like, okay. And like I was pretty frustrated with it yesterday because some reason when I was blocking it, the messages kept coming through, and I was like, dang, like why? So I was like, I felt like, okay, now I kind of have to respond because he keeps on. So I was like, well, if I respond, maybe he'll just kind of like lay low for a while. And I was like, you know, like I get about 100 notifications a day, and I do text people a lot. I am known for, getting overly caffeinated and being very wordy. I like to just like explain myself in more detail, but usually I feel like it's either I try to send things that are of interest to the other person, or just like a detail about what's going on, and I try I try lately to focus on, making sure it's not like ultra negative, that I'm not just like being super negative and just being like, oh, my day is like a drain. I try to put that stuff on here, it's like, um, excuse me, wow. And even on here, I'm trying not to take an approach of like super negativity. I'm trying to be like, okay, like, not like faking like, oh, there's a silver lining, or like look at the positive side, but it's like realistically, most of the things I'm dealing with these days aren't really unsolvable issues. It's just little stuff where I'm learning how to like resolve it on my own. And so I like to talk about my process of it. Like I've talked about how I get all irritable and all that kind of stuff. And I realized that working out helps. And then recently I just kind of realized, well, maybe I need to like get out more because lately I've been home a lot working on a bunch of stuff. And like I do feel like significantly better, even though I had a car issue late at night. It wasn't too late. Like I strategically try not to leave places that are far really late at night because I already know. Like it was like 35 miles from my friend's place, and I'm about um I don't think I'm 20 miles from them. But I think total from my place, if I would have gone straight from my place, it would have been like 55 miles. And I think my friend's place is like 12 to 16 miles or so from me. Um, but this isn't the friend I'm talking about that was, texting. Like this other friend was someone I lived with. And people who know me, it's like it takes a lot for me to not want to be a friend of somebody. Like I'm not really the type of person who's like, okay, we have like weird differences, like let's just not be friends. I like having people that are different from me. It does cause a lot of, frustration sometimes, but I'm willing to work with it. But this situation with this dude, it's been going on for a long time. And so he was sending me all these messages, and I just responded back. I was like, kind of like, wow, that's a lot to focus on. Um, and usually what I do is I just give my opinion. I don't even respond to his opinion because it's like I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about war and all this kind of thing that he's always talking about spirituality and being some form of jealousy, and about men being like a certain way, and about all like it's just in general. He talks about his frustrations and theories about like different types of people, like religious people, about like very masculine people, about leaders who have very authoritarian methods and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, let's talk about like love and creativity and music and stuff like that. So I basically told him like, okay, like yeah, that really does seem like a lot to focus on. But then I was just like, yeah, I just focus on this, lately. And because I was like, I'm not gonna read all that because every time it's the same thing. It's like 14 messages. Like I'm not even exaggerating. It's like I'll be scrolling and it's like scrolling. I like, and I like that he sends me music. I like that he sends me, stuff. Sometimes he sends me memes that are a little bit like inappropriate for my sensitivity. Like they're not totally inappropriate if we were like bros, but I am kind of like a woman and you're like a guy sending me like these weird pictures. Like it's not of him or like anything, but it's just a little strange. And so I engage with it when I have the energy. And I don't know what I said that kind of tipped him off to a point where he was, or ticked him off to a point where he was just going off the rails. But I think he didn't really like my response because he's just like, you don't seem to ever, you know, um, I don't know the word they used, but you know, I guess he felt like I wasn't respecting his opinions and stuff. But I never have said to him, don't think the way that you do. I'm just kind of like, it, like when I have something that's draining my energy, I try to retreat from it because I try to conserve my energy for my own things. His messages drain my energy. Whenever I see a message, I don't feel good about it. I'm like, oh gosh, like what now? I'll scroll through it real quick and I'll see, okay, is this something that like is like about a whole rant about some negativity thing again, or is it like something funny or something that I actually want to engage with? But most of the time it's that negative stuff. And so I don't really want to hold on to that. So I just scroll past it. And then usually I don't respond. And then usually if you keep sending me batches of like 10, 8, 14 messages, I'll just block him. I blocked him yesterday because I was like, that's something I do like for the weekend. It's not uncommon that I'll just block somebody or him specifically. I don't really have a lot of people that I do that with, but you know, so I was a little bit conflicted because I'm like, I've been wanting to keep this guy as a friend for a long time, but just kind of the way he's been lately with all these messages, and I'm kind of skirting around the idea of, you know, okay, how direct can you really be with somebody? So I'm like, I don't want to hurt his feelings and be like, I don't want to, that's why I kind of just send my own messages about my own thing because I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get tickets to this thing and like check out this song that I found, like, and he was just upset that I never seemed to. It's not that he was upset that I don't agree with him because I don't disagree with what he's saying. I actually agree with what he's saying. I just don't want to talk about it all the time. Like I don't think I have anything more to actually say because I've sent him novels worth of responses back over the years. Like I've known this guy for years, so I don't really know what to do with it at this point. So I've tried to be passive and try not to hurt his feelings and been like, hey, like I'm just gonna do this. I've tried to do the hey block him until I feel like I can like go in and like read the messages because it's a burden to me. And then, you know, he was upset with me yesterday. And I was like, it's okay for someone to be upset with me. I'm not just going to be like, I don't want to talk to you because you're upset with me. But I was trying to express to him, I don't have the energy for this. I get hundreds of notifications a day, like 100, not hundreds, 100 or so notifications a day from various things. I'm trying to like, I'm already having enough trouble with my energy as it is. Um, and he responds, because he responded like, someone telling me how to think. I guess he assumed I was trying to tell him how to think, but I wasn't. I basically look at what he says and just say what I'm doing. And usually it's not the same thing he's doing. I'm not like tuning into what he's saying or responding much to it. It's basically the way I usually see it is he says this whole thing, and I'm usually like, this is what I'm dealing with over here, and I'm not even really responding half the time to what he's saying. And I can tell he's not responding to what I'm saying. Like he's trying to like prove his point. And I'm like, I've already told you that I agree with you, so I don't even know why he keeps sending the same things over and over again. Or maybe he doesn't notice it's the same thing. But I was kind of over it yesterday because I tried the passive approach of the blocking when I feel like it's being annoying, but for some reason, because the messages kept coming through, maybe it's the new iPhone's update, or maybe it's him and he decided, oh, if I can push this message through, then it'll just get through. Like, I don't know if he found a way to do that. And so I was getting frustrated by that because I have told him every now and then, I'm like, oh, I'm back online, or like I went offline for a few days. And maybe it's not fully truthful because it wasn't that I go offline fully. It's just that I'm not online for him. And so, but I kind of go offline. Some days I just won't go on Instagram, or some days I just won't try to like engage with certain content just for my own like stress levels and stuff. Um, but I just, I was like, okay, I tried to be nice, and I was just like, look, you know, I'm getting like 100 notifications a day. I'm already struggling with my energy. I've got a lot of other things that I'm working on. In between trying to exercise and go to the gym and cook food and eat and get work done and balance all these relationships with my family and friends, like I was like, you're not the only person texting me every day. You're not the only person who I have to respond to and have to tend to every day. And he was kind of just like, well, I didn't ever expect you, I never said you had to read all my messages. But that wasn't the point. I was just like, I'm not even disagreeing with what he says. It's just, I don't want him to be like texting me about it all the time because I just don't want to hear about it. It's not that I don't agree, I just don't want to hear it. The negative energy behind it affects me. And so why would I tune into it if I know it stresses me out? So I was trying to like express that, and he didn't really want to hear that. So I just deleted everything. I was like, I deleted his number. Originally, I saved the last message that I sent, and I screenshotted his number because I was like, maybe I'm just upset and I will want to go back to it. But I'm like, maybe it's time for me to like wipe my hands clean of all things that were from that house. He was the last remnant of that house that I was in touch with. And I'm kind of like, I don't really see the benefit in these texts. Like, every so often it's fun. 90 to 95% of the time I don't even read what he writes because it's too much for me to handle. And I was basically like, I think you need more from me than what I can actually give you. Like, I can't give you what you need. Like, I've already told you months and years ago that we are on the same page about a lot of stuff. There's space for us to not be on the same page. Like, I don't care if we agree on the same things. I'm not even debating him. But I don't know, he took it wrong, and I just don't think there's any other way I can get my point across, or I don't think there's really a point in trying to like resolve this. Um, because I kind of see how he is. He gets pretty aggressive, like verbally. Like, he's not abusive to me, but it's kind of like when somebody's telling you that they don't want you to text them all the time, how is your response to keep texting back? When somebody's blocking you and you can see that you've been blocked, like, how is your response to keep messaging? Like, when somebody's telling you like what you're saying is stressing me out, like, why would you keep saying it? You wouldn't like try to change or anything, like. And I'm like, I don't, like, what do I want to put up with this for like 3 more years? Like, why? So I kind of think I'm cutting that relationship. He did respond again. I went back, deleted all the messages from our past, just deleted him from my phone, but still he has my number, so he can still text me technically. So he did send another message. I didn't read it. It's in my phone. I didn't read it. I just marked it as read, and I just don't want to talk to him anymore. Like, I don't really see the point in continuing. I'm usually not like that, but this is the year that I'm like, let's just trim out all the stuff that's really just getting to you. If it's something that's like a burden, why do I need to hold on to that? We don't hang out. Like, the other times I was in San Diego, like, he's been wanting to meet up and talk and stuff, but I'm just like, I don't want to sit and talk about that. And we do get along in person, but it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't have the time or energy for this. Like, I don't think I really want to cultivate a relationship with him anymore. Um, I've given it chances. I just think it's not for me. Um, I wish him well. I think he'll have a happy life. I don't see why, if I'm not gonna see him. I like going to concerts, metal shows with him and stuff. I was actually looking forward to trying to schedule something cheap, like at Brick by Brick in San Diego, to go see some show with him or something. We saw Soulfly together. We had a good time, but I just don't know, like, if it's worth more than just that. Like, I tried to just be courteous and nice, and I know I'm giving like a one-sided, you know, side of this. Like, I know that he's hurting and has things he wants to share, but if I don't want to hear what he has to share, then why should I have to be subjected to it? And I don't know how many different ways I can explain to somebody that I don't want to hear it. I mean, I've had a friend that explained to me that, sometimes I'm texting a lot. They don't really have the energy to read it. They'd rather have me send them voicemails. They do want to keep in touch. I understood that, tried to respect it, and sent them voicemails, you know, and tried to keep it concise, but it's not always the on point. And I know that they don't have the energy to be responding, and I kind of just take it with a grain of salt. I'm like, okay, but if somebody tells me something, I'm going to try to correct it if I kind of get what they're saying. Like, I don't understand why he is just being that way. Like, I know he needs to, like, talk to people about that kind of stuff, but I don't want to talk about it. So it's kind of like, why are you talking to me about things I don't want to talk about? And apparently I'm talking to him about things he doesn't want to talk about too. So I don't think we're really going to go anywhere with that. It's mostly a texting relationship. I haven't seen him for probably a couple years at this point. We kind of text back on almost a daily basis. Um, I'll see. Like, I mean, I'm not into writing people off. He's very argumentative, and I'm not into that. And I just don't see the point in continuing. Like, I'm just not gonna message him back. If I feel like I want to, I might. But I feel like we're just having two different conversations. He's bombarding my inbox with floods of messages about things I don't want to read, and I'm over here talking to him about music and music videos and like different creative things that I'm interested in right now and like work and different kind of stuff. Like, we're not even talking about the same stuff. So I don't even I think he's trying to push me away, and I'm like, if you're trying to push me away, you're doing a good job of it, because I don't really see what the point of it is. But he was like questioning, like, are you acting as a friend? And I'm like, how can I act as a friend? I don't have energy to do what you need me to do. I don't have energy to act like a friend in the way that you want me to act. Like, I just don't. Like, why would I overextend myself? Like, I try to be respectful and listen at least when I feel like I have the energy to, but I don't know what more I can really do. So I'm leaving it. I'm just leaving it alone. Um, like, I just basically ended by saying, sorry that I feel like you need way more from me than what I can actually give you energy wise. I can't provide that kind of energy. I don't have that kind of energy to give, so I don't know where I can't even do it even if I wanted to. I would love to have the kind of energy to sit for 45 minutes to an hour and a half on the phone texting back and forth with somebody about some deep thing. Um, but I don't want to. I've got other stuff to do and it disrupts my day, and I just don't want to open up my inbox to see messages from him, multiple. Like, I get excited if I have messages, but whenever I see his name, I'm like, ugh. So now I'm not gonna have to see his name. I'm not gonna have to see that. It's not really a big deal. I feel like if I keep being in touch with him, there's potential for things like this to keep coming up and being a big deal. It is something that's resolvable. I think it would require meeting and talking in person. I don't really have the willpower to try to meet in person and really talk this through. Um, Especially because he's kind of attached to a household of people that I just don't want to even think about. And, I feel like, he's not connected with them, but he he's just too much. He's too much to handle. Um, but I wish him well. I don't really like talking about that stuff on here, but that's just it's part of life. Sometimes you gotta just do what you gotta do for yourself, and it's hard for me to do that. You know, I'm constantly feeling bad about things like I feel bad if I don't message somebody back or like fast or if I just you know do something like that. But I don't have much to overextend right now, so I'm just gonna stop overextending. You know, um, I've got other friends that want to meet and do stuff. I don't want to take energy away from planning and doing stuff with them and having a good time. With him, I'm not having a good time. So I haven't had a good time with him in years, and I don't think he's coming out here anytime soon. And every time I go to San Diego, I don't meet him. So that's all I really got to say about that, at least for now. So that's what happened before I went to the wedding. Um, got to the wedding. It was really good. We got there at 5:45. Once we got there, we were like, okay, get to the restroom, like get our costumes on and stuff. And then we realized, like somebody that we first met, once we kind of sat down and stuff, we kind of realized that um, it was like somebody mentioned that the wedding started at 5. There was a ceremony, a whole service, but we only got the invitation for part of it. And so I think that was intentional because I've seen, weddings where people just invite people to the reception or whatever, and maybe it's like a smaller group for the friends, um, for the close friends and family. I don't really even know these people very well, but I consider them friends because they're friendly and they're nice, and I have no reason not to. If somebody's gonna invite me to their wedding, and I don't think they just did it out of like, oh, I just happened to be there when they were talking about it. Like they were not obligated to invite me to their wedding. Um, and this was months ago, and they invited me, and so it was fun. There was a drag king performer from Hamburger Mary's. There were really cool drinks, a lot of cool costumes. It was very Friday the 13th, Halloween kind of themed. The brides both had costumes on. They both had, um, uh, you know, I gotta drink this coffee. I forgot. They both had costumes on. It's gonna be cold. That's totally cold. They had costumes on. They had um like these types of dresses and red stuff in their like eyes and blood dripping, and there were a lot of skeletons all over, webs, and the drink menu was really cool. It had like this blood clot drink and all these other kind of cool like themed drinks, some Ouija napkins, some cool little Halloween like cupcakes of different designs that I'd never really seen before. Like it was very on theme and it was really, really cool. Like I've never been to a wedding or a reception like that. The food was good. They had a taco truck that they paid for, the meals for all the guests, and so that was very nice of them. We didn't have to pay anything really. We didn't have to pay for the drag king. We didn't have to pay for the food. So it was really cool. I was happy to be a part of that experience. I left the little gift of the card and the little sake set with them. And, I hope it's going to go good. I'm a little bummed about this little friendship situation. Um, but I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. I don't have the energy to really deal with it. But yeah, on the way back, we had a tire blowout. Uh, I'm driving a Nissan Murano right now from '06, and it was in my mind. I was like, you know, something might go wrong with this car, but I did my best to make sure that everything was kind of refilled and everything. But I never thought about the tires. I don't know how old the tires are. It's not my car, so it's things like that. But I guess the tip I was gonna give, um, if you're on the freeway and your tire blows out, I mean, this isn't like professional advice, but if you're on the freeway and your tire blows out, whether you're in the middle or if you can get over to one of the sides, um, if you call 511, they can come to you. Um, and they can help you change a tire for free, help you jumpstart a battery for free, or but if you need like a new tire or a new battery, they'll charge you for it. But they can bring it out for you and install it, I believe, or they can tow you to the nearest park and ride, or if there's somewhere really, really close that they can tow you, they can tow you to like a mechanic or something. So, as far as I know, that service is still free. You just call 511. It's the same thing as those call boxes. I don't know if they still have them on the freeways. You just call 511 and it's direct help to you for free because they basically make sure that the freeways aren't like clogged up with cars. They can't get off the freeway. Like they'll at least get you off the freeway. And park and rides, you can usually leave your car for a day or two. You have to check the signs and stuff. But if you have to leave your car overnight for like a night, other than the fact that it might not be safe if people break in or whatever, but I mean, I've had to do that before when I couldn't get to my main mechanic. Um, but yeah, like I wonder how long my energy is gonna last. Like I was up till like 2 a.m. because I was pretty wired. After the car issue, I think we stopped at a Denny's because that was the closest thing. Once I realized it was the tire, and we parked, and I went inside, asked, my friend was asking me if I was going to ask somebody for help. And I was like, that's probably the best idea because I've never practiced changing a tire on that car. And I probably never would have thought to like ask for help, you know. I probably would have done something else or like relied on, like, I don't have AAA under this car, which is the issue. My mom does, but, they usually check your ID. I mean, they could have towed the car home and then checked her ID. Um, we weren't that far from my friend's place, at least. And I only tipped the guy like 15 bucks. I was like, I really don't have money to be spending on a bunch of stuff. Like, I wanted to give him like 40, 50 bucks because he did a lot of work. The jack kept slipping. And so he ended up having to use his jack, the jack out of his wife's car, and our jack, and the tire that was blown out. And then once he actually got the tire, the donut on, because the car kept slipping off the jack, once he actually got the donut on, he was actually able to, um, once he got the donut on, he was able to, um, it was flat. So I was kind of worried. I was like, oh no, but he's like, just go put some air in it. So I'm like, okay, go put some air in it. And the air worked. And if you don't know, if you ask at a gas station for them to turn on the air, it's free. So just little things like that. Like I've been driving for a while and I just want to give some little tips in case you get stalled somewhere. Those are some little backups to know. I think if you're on an on or off ramp when your car stalls on a freeway, that doesn't count. But if you're actually on the freeway, then you can call. So it actually would benefit you to pull over to the shoulder and not get off the freeway if you need 511's help. Because if you don't have AAA or something, you can call 511. Like I said, battery jump, uh, tire change, they'll do that kind of stuff for free. At least when I was using it, they did. I check and see if this stuff is still available because a lot has changed in the last year or two. without every service, everything's more expensive. All the stuff that was free is now not free, so I don't really know, but these things were all free. The air is still free. Air and water at a gas station is free when you ask them. So usually it has like an option to pay with a card or pay with coins or whatever, but you don't have to pay. This tire pump, this air pump was the best air pump I've ever used in my life. It actually had a gauge on it, and it told us when it was full enough to stop pumping the air. And it had instead of you having to like hold that little handle down, it had just like a nice grip handle where you could just put the nozzle onto I don't know what it's called, onto the thing that the air goes in the tire. I don't know what that is exactly is called. Um, but yeah. Um, but things I'm working towards, getting some consistent solid work, getting a car situated. Um, I don't really want to drive these old cars anymore. I'm kind of over it because I can't tell what's going on with them. I'm working on repairing my credit because I have to. I've, I've definitely screwed up my credit. Um, but I'm working on that right now too. So today I plan to go get some brunch deliveries in with the other old car, and then I plan to go get my Kohl's items returned. I had a subscription that came out from iPhone for $18.99. So between the $24 that I spent for these earbuds and the 18 something dollars for one costume and the 19 something dollars for the other costume, I'm expecting to get back like um about $80, once I get all these returns and things situated. So that's not chump change. That's a lot of money in my opinion. Um so yeah. I had to cancel two of the um mystery shops for the apartments I was going to view up near Santa Monica. I, you know, I don't know. I think I'm a little sad about this friend thing. And usually that's what leads me to kind of stick to people. Like, I'm not into cutting ties with people. I'm really not, you guys. But there was something about that household. I feel like it was cursed or something. Like, you know, it was just such a bad experience that I think maybe I'm holding some of that against him. It's very possible that I'm kind of like, you're attached to this house, that's where I met you. So I don't, maybe there's a little bit of like annoyance because of that too. But I find it really hard to have compassion for what he's saying. I've definitely got compassion fatigue specifically with him. Um, and I think I still have it in general because when I was talking about, on Monday, when I was talking about Monday and Friday, or, yeah, when I was talking about that potential job in case management, I was realizing I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't want to get back into this. It's the last thing I want to get back into. Like, I'm not feeling it. And it's not always about what I feel, but it's also like, I don't want to, like, I've been working on my physical and mental health for most of this year. I'm finally at a place where I can go to the gym when I feel like it or work out from home when I feel like it most days. Like I'm not holding myself back as much as I was because of a lot of depression and stuff. I've still got the anxiety for sure, but a lot of the depression is like somewhat lessened by distancing myself from so many stressors, especially stressors that have to do with people just needing so much energy out of me that I don't have to give. I'm putting that energy back into myself, into my exercise, into my creative stuff, into talking to people I actually want to talk to. I'm not saying that my friends can't rant and vent about what they want to rant and vent about, but it's like that's all they want to do is rant and vent and about the same thing that I'm not I'm like not sure how to respond. Like, how many times can you respond to the same thing? So I don't know. I don't think I need to deal with all that. I feel good about the way I left it though, because I did say, that I'm sorry that I can't really. I think that was the best explanation I could give. I'm sorry, I just can't be there like for you the way that you need me to be. Like, I don't know what else to say, but it's like I was trying to like choose my words carefully because he was already kind of feeling like I wasn't, being a good friend, but I'm like, I don't think I can be a good friend in the way you want me to be. Like, I don't have energy to do it, and I don't know what else I can really do or say. Like, so, you know, I don't really know. Like, if somebody else can't respect that I don't have energy for them, or at least for those types of things that they have that they want to or need to or seem to have to want to talk about. Like, we can talk about other stuff, but I don't want to talk about just exclusively that. You know, it's not fun for me. I like to have fun. You know, like, yeah, if someone wants to mourn together or grieve together or you know vent together, I'm in for it. But if that's all we're doing, like, what are we doing? Like, we're not doing anything productive. Like, there's a point where it's like you got to move on. Do something about it. Like, be active in it. Like, I get frustrated with stuff too, but I'd rather put it into my exercise, put it into my like writing, put it into my podcast episodes, put it into like my music, put it somewhere. Like, I don't want to overly burden my family and friends with all the things that I have going on all the time. You know, like, I have plenty of things that I think about too that I'm just like, man, but I don't know. I don't know. Kind of a hard way to start a weekend, but I've got stuff to do. I gotta eat. I gotta see if I can get some orders, get this stuff together for Amazon returns and for all that. I think what I'm gonna do is see if I get one or two deliveries, go do the Amazon returns, then go to the gym. And that'll be the end of my day. By that time, it'll be lunch, and I'll just end my day at lunch. Try to have a healthy lunch. We'll see how that goes. Um, just focus on the stuff I need to do. I didn't sleep enough. I slept like 5 hours, but I woke up wired and I went to sleep pretty wired. I've been taking 2.5 milligrams of melatonin every night lately, and that's been helping. Last night I took 5 milligrams, no edibles, so I don't have any cannabis in my system. Well, I probably still have it in my system, but not as much as I probably usually do. Lately it's been Delta 8, so I'm thinking of taking a little step back from it, a little bit, not much, just a little tiny bit. But I'm gonna go do all that, then send out some pictures and work on some stuff. So I'm excited. And by the way, I got tickets for a metal concert. Um, so I'm excited about that. It's not until April, but it's cool. I should be able to see A Perfect Circle, Alice in Chains, and Slipknot, System of a Down, Static X. There's a lot of others on there that I'm interested in seeing, but those are the major ones. Kitty again. I loved seeing Kitty. They were cool. Um, I was introduced to OTEP from watching Chris Garza's podcast yesterday. That was pretty cool. I was trying to just like get back to having like an immersive musical weekend. The music at the wedding was really good. I liked being like involved with the music performances and stuff. So that was really fun and positive. It was just a cool vibe. I didn't really like meet people too much, like a little bit. I had fun. I don't know if there were a lot of queers there. From my assessment, there might not have been, but it's cool. Like, not everybody has to be queer to get along. I just prefer being around queer people because you know why, but um All right, I'm gonna get on with my morning because I got a lot to do, and I don't know if you guys like these episodes. I try to put, I'm gonna try to put the little explanations of the categories in the topic and the subject, so you can kind of see like what it's about. I am just rambling. I really don't have much. I do have a lot to say, but I'm really not like talking about content I'm consuming or anything. Oh, I guess that's one other thing. A friend of mine, an LGBT female friend of mine, was kind of saying that they have some trouble, not trouble, but they want to, um, I think they're newly involved with someone, and that person wants to go to some type of formal event, and they were saying they don't have any nice clothes or any clothes that they can wear. And I know this person pretty well. Um, I don't think they really like dresses and makeup and all that on themselves. I don't either. I don't know. Maybe they've changed, but from what I know about them, since we've known each other for like since like I don't know how long, since like second and third grade, or third grade or fourth grade or somewhere around there. Um, they've not really like dresses and makeup and stuff, and so I kind of tried to introduce them to Dapper Boy and some of the outfits on Stud Model Project, um, just to see what they think. So if people don't know about those two companies, I've got a friend and some other acquaintances that I've kind of seen around town through that friend that are, part of what makes up Dapper Boy, DAPPERBOI. Um, and Stud Model Project is really cool. Um, they have a lot of different kind of things. Like some of it's like underwear, some of it's like shirtless, some of it's like with those tape, that kind of tape. And then some of it's just like bedroom kind of attire, like jammies kind of stuff. And some of it's like suits, and some of it's like outdoor casual wear. So they just do have a lot of ideas for fashion. So I was like, I shared that with my friend, and I, you know, um, I shared that with my friend, and I want to share it with you guys in case you don't know. But yeah, I really gotta get this coffee down and go. I was gonna try to be out and about around 10:30, so I got about an hour and a half to get all the stuff done, and then get on out and get doing what I need to do, so I can get back to the house or get into the gym and then get back to the house and do what I need. Um, but I'm excited for today. I'm pretty pumped up. I might need to take a chill pill later on today. So I'm gonna get a lot done early, front load my day. I'm running on like minimal energy right now. So, oh, all right, guys. Thanks for listening. Alrighty, guys. I ended the episode already, but I just wanted to put this at the beginning. Maybe just to preface things. I was just remembering that, the other day on Instagram, I think it was Stud Model Project that posted this question, and it was like, what's the longest you've stayed in a relationship? Or something like that. Stayed in a relationship or been involved with somebody who, I don't know how they worded it. Someone who didn't have good boundaries or something like that. And my answer was too long. And I went and scrolled down the list, and I was like, oh, I'm not the only one who has that issue. And I didn't like that about myself. When I realized that, I was like, yeah, I do tend to hold on to things with people too long that just aren't healthy for me. Maybe they're not healthy in the moment, or maybe they're just not healthy in general, and I still keep coming back for more. So I'm kind of gonna delve a little bit more into that in this episode with a specific example. I'm not really trying to be, I hope it doesn't come across as me being a jackass or anything, but I mean, I don't know how else to like talk about my life without actually talking about my life. Like I try to make it a point that I try to be a good friend to people. I try to be a good family member to people. I've only got so much energy to give. Most of the time, I'm not in the habit of being like, oh, if this person pisses me off once, or this person isn't being there for me, or this person isn't being a good friend, like, I can let that go. I can let that go when it's like an occasional thing where it's like it just happens, you know. But I feel like sometimes if I'm too far apart on things with people, you know, I want to practice trying to like let go of things. Some people I don't think I need in my life. I don't think they need me, you know. So why would I, you know, keep holding on to something that's really not. I'm not saying that everything has to benefit me, but if something's like actively hurting me on a regular basis, why should I be obligated towards them? That's something I got to work out on my own, or even with people, but I don't think I really have a solid answer to it yet. I'm kind of at the beginning phases of doing that. I just, you know, if I have friends or family listening to this, I don't really want people to think that I'm like trying to cut ties with everybody and I'm so pissed off that I want everybody out of my life. It's not like that at all. Like, I'm down to give people chances. I'm down to, you know, give people, you know, space on things. I'm totally down to like have arguments and disagreements and just, you know, unfortunately people hurt each other's feelings sometimes, and it's like, is that going to be the end of something if your feelings are hurt? You know, it doesn't have to be that way. I don't want to be, you know, hurting people. I don't want people hurting me. But when is the point where it's gone on too much and there's really no benefit? Like, I'll talk about the scenario, but I think it goes both ways with this specific person in my life. I think we're too far apart in the way that we want to communicate. They want to communicate about things that I don't want to communicate about, and I want to communicate about things they don't want to communicate about. And I don't really think we have too much of a middle ground. We can't really stay on the middle ground. We have a middle ground, but I don't think we can stay there. Because I think this other person doesn't want to stay in the middle ground. They want to stay talking about what they want to talk about that I really don't have the energy for. It's kind of damaging my anxiety levels, so I just don't think it's healthy for me. It's just not healthy for me. I don't hate the person. I don't dislike this person. I just think it's not a healthy person for me, especially at this time in my life. It's leading me to set myself back. I don't even want to blame them for it. The way that they're not able to kind of compromise with this, and also I haven't done the best of jobs of trying to like resolve this whole thing, but I think I don't have the energy to even do that, to be honest. I did as much as I could, and I think I did my best to leave with not causing a lot of damage or hurt to somebody. We'll see. But anyways, it'll be in this freaking episode. If it's too negative of a topic, people might not want to listen to this, but I don't know. Sometimes people like drama. This is how the drama in my life goes. Like, when it comes, I try to resolve it as quickly as possible and get away. Like, if we're not resolving this, like, let's take a step back or just end this. Like, I don't really know what we're doing here, but I don't know. I do have respect for this person's opinions. I do agree with a lot of things that they have to say. I've respected a lot of what we've shared as friends. At the moment, I don't think either one of us is that good for each other at all. And I don't really see any reason to like continue being a negative influence in each other's lives. I'll talk more about it, but this is just me after I've talked about it. This is kind of what's coming to my mind. I'm not perfect in any of this. Obviously, they're mad at me for something, so that, I didn't realize that I was doing or didn't care that I was doing, because I don't have the energy to do things the way that they need me to do them. So, and I don't care. I don't think I should have to have the energy for it. It's my energy. I can be selfish with it. But I feel like a jackass when I do that. But I should. I need to practice being a jackass every now and then. It's against my nature. But it's like, do you let people keep interfering with your life? Or do you do what you have to do for your own self to, keep your life pretty solid without too many interferences? I think there is a way to kind of get a middle ground on it. And then there's a way to be way more selfish towards myself and do what I need more for myself without considering someone else, as much as they want and need me to consider them. I think it's fine. I feel like a jackass about it, but I think it's fine. I don't think I'm doing anything evil. I've tried, it's just not going to work out. At least at this time, I don't think it's healthy for me. So that's how I'm going to leave it for today. But the episode shall continue.